It is Duggar Band. Seth, Jordan, thank you for coming in.
Hey, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so let's get this out of the way. Is it the Duggar Band or Duggar Band?
Just Duggar Band.
Just Duggar Band,
Simple.
no the.
That's right.
That's good.
Simple.
And you guys are brothers.
Yes, sir.
And we've established during the break that Jordan is the eldest.
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's just you two?
Yes, sir. Just the two of us.
Yep.
What in the world got y'all into music? Seth, I guess I'll give you a go. You're the youngest, and I'm partial to the youngest brother. I was telling them about my older brother beating me up all the time. What got y'all two into this?
Man, we grew up in it. Our parents, they were very musical. My dad, he toured with his family doing Southern gospel music whenever he was a kid growing up. And then once he had a family with us, and we kind of got to see them riding on the big bus and touring the Southeast doing Southern gospel with his family. And so that kind of sparked the dream in us. And whenever we got, basically old enough to say some words, I was 4 years old, and Jordan was 7 when we recorded our first record with them. And it just kind of sparked the dream in us, and we just kind of always grew up thinking, hey, we want to be like Dad and do music. And
that's pretty cool.
That's kind of how it worked.
Where was growing up? Where was that?
We grew up in Greenville, Tennessee. It's about an hour northeast of Knoxville. And like I said, grew up in a musical family. Our first instruments was pots and pans on the kitchen floor.
That's right.
With
Beating and banging.
Wooden spoons and that kind of thing. But yeah, great place to grow up in Greenville.
And you guys mentioned while we were kind of getting to know one another during the news that y'all started out in primarily Christian music?
Yes, sir. Like Seth said, when we were old enough to talk, we were thrown on stage basically in church to sing. And our parents used to tell us that they would never force us to sing, but they would also tell us if we sang in church, then they would buy our food afterwards. And if we didn't, then we could buy our own. So since we didn't have any money and we wanted to eat, we chose to sing. So I always had choices.
But we're not forcing
That's
anybody.
right. Yeah, we have a choice.
You got your own choices to make.
Yeah, so we kind of grew up doing
that. Kind of sounds like Donald Trump, the Chinese, and the tariffs. We're not forcing anything, but we're just letting you know.
Yeah, it's just how it is. So.
Well, talk to me about what that life was like, and what kind of precipitated the switch over to. Look, I think if you do it right, there's not a lot of difference between country music and Christian music anyway. But talk to us about kind of that transition.
Yeah, so we started out doing Christian music. We led worship at our parents' church and a couple campus ministries in college, and we were doing our own shows, selling our own tickets, getting sponsors. And we went to actually Bristol Motor Speedway to ask them to sponsor a show one time, and they in turn asked us if we'd play at the race, which was like a week later. And they said, instead of playing some Christian music, could you play some entertainment, like some country stuff? And we'd always grew up playing country music, but we never performed it before. And so we're like, well, this is a paying gig. We might as well do it. And so our first show ever doing country music was at the Bristol Motor Speedway, and doors
That's
just
a good place to start.
Yeah. And we were on the same stage with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon. They were speaking right after us, and we'd never played Wagon Wheel in front of people before.
That was nerve-wracking.
Right? Really nerve-wracking. But doors just started opening with that, and it just kind of fell into it.
Was that a little intimidating being on stage with? Big E would probably be more intimidating, but Little E, that's still that.
Oh man,
yeah,
that's star power, right?
Yeah,
it definitely was. It was a donor event, and so it was like 2,000 of the biggest donors to the Speedway, and these guys were there speaking, and we're like, well, there's no pressure with this, right? This is just the biggest supporters of the raceway, and so don't want to mess this up and have people walking out. So it was a lot of pressure, but it was fun. That was our two favorite drivers. I know they were kind of rivals, but that's just who we liked growing up.
Yeah.
And so that was a really cool moment. Our first country show on the same stage as those guys.
When was that?
2013.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So this has been a slow and steady climb, right? What's happened between now and then, right? So 12 years. I can't imagine what life is like making a name for yourself in country music. It has to be more competitive than ever. Mm-hmm. You guys obviously stand out. Your music's great. But what is life like? What is that like on a day-to-day basis?
I think for us, it was, just trying to figure out what kind of music that we wanted to do. And, those doors opened, and we're still involved in church, but it's just more doors started open on the entertainment side of things. And we enjoyed doing that. And around 2015 is when we came to Nashville and tried out for a few of the places to play down on Broadway. And we actually did a tryout at one on a Saturday, and we were on our way back to East Tennessee because we weren't living here yet. and we got a call that they wanted us to come perform. And we're like, oh, it sounds great. And we're expecting like, hey, a week or two from now or whatever. And I was like, when do you want us to come? And they said, how about tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock? And we're like, well, yeah, we'd love that. But, we don't even have a band down here or nothing. I mean, we just come down here, just the two of us. And so we're like, we've got to get some stuff together. And they're like, all right, well, how about next Tuesday? We're like, sure. And so we figured it out by then. And all of a sudden, for us moving to Nashville wasn't a big decision where it's like, this is the date we're moving. We were staying in a hotel when we were coming to play those shows early on. And it got to a point where an apartment was cheaper than a hotel. So that's when we officially moved. And, since then it's just been playing a lot of shows. I think for a lot of artists, the whole COVID shutdown thing really, changed a lot of, paths and trajectories through this thing. For us, we went from having almost 200 shows the year before COVID to everything being canceled.
Yeah.
And we kind of went back to East Tennessee for a little while to just be with our family and then came back, after that was over. And so most country musicians in this town, you hear a 10-year town. I'm sure you've heard it plenty. You're kind of here on an average of that much time before anybody hears about you. And, for us, it's almost 10 years to the month that this happened with our song. And it's wild how that kind of worked out. But
so we're talking to Duggar Band, Jordan and Seth, about the recent rise in their popularity and the incredible rise in this song. And it was, I'm not here to cast aspersion, but I just think somewhere along the way somebody made a weird decision. But you look at that silver lining around the dark cloud of the decision making on the part of WSMV. But let's walk into that story a little bit, because y'all were set. I mean, you slowly grew your popularity, folks getting to know you, and you were set to you. Well, let me ask you this before I ask that. At what point? Because I'm just naturally curious. Were you playing covers and writing songs on your own? And then how does that transition work for you guys? Because what I don't know about what y'all do would fill, volumes of books. But yeah. I mean, is it just a slow process where you start writing your own songs and you start incorporating those into the sets?
Yeah. So I think we moved to town and, our focus is make a living. And so you got to go to Broadway. For us, our story, you go to Broadway, you earn enough money to pay your bills. And that really taught us a lot about how to play our instruments, a lot of how to entertain a crowd. And playing 6 and 7 hours a night taught us, what does a hit song sound like? And so you play that over and over and over, night in, night out. It kind of teaches you a lot about writing. And, you come with the knowledge, knowing we need to write, we need to produce our own stuff. And so you kind of do a little bit of that, go back to playing Broadway to make a living. And then I think when COVID happened, we released a few records before COVID. But when COVID happened, we really focused a lot on writing. And, we got 2 or 3 records out of that writing during the COVID shutdown. And so I think making that transition it's really important. It's hard because, getting on Broadway and making a living down there, it can be kind of addicting because you need the money to survive. But if you can just make that step to making your own music and making your own name for yourself, that's really the path that we definitely wanted to go down.
I mean, was it a discussed did y'all have conversations about what y'all wanted to be in terms of your own music and your own style? I mean, was that something that y'all needed to talk about, or was there already kind of a brotherly communication going on?
I think we just have kind of evolved over time. I mean, we grew up, like Seth said, listening to country music, listening to Christian music, and then we started just doing things that we liked. So we were just playing music that we liked, and, sometimes we pushed it far one way or another. If you go back and listen to everything we've recorded, there's some that are kind of outliers, like where did that come from? But we were just kind of exploring, seeing what we liked, seeing what people connected with. And, our buddy John Rich said it best, you can have a song that you think is a hit, but the people will tell you whether it is or not. And so I think as we go, we kind of see, hey, the crowd really responded to this. Like, this felt good. This fits us. And so I think I don't know if you ever reach a moment where it's like, this is exactly us. You're kind of like, this is where we're at right now, and find some things that you continue to carry forward.
And clearly your little brother is the punk of the group. I mean, but it's pretty well. I mean, for those watching on Talk TV, I mean, it's pretty obvious that you got the country roots, and and Seth has the punk roots, right? I mean, am I misreading any of this?
I can't get him in a cowboy hat.
Right.
And he's not big on plaid either.
But I do play fiddle, so
That's his country insurance.
Never violin.
Fiddle.
That's right. That's right.
We're sitting in with Duggar Band. That's Seth and Jordan, talking to them about the music scene and how we got to know them. And really, it's born out of a story that it's a little bit. I don't want to say negative, but it's kind of weird. Is that a fair way to put it, guys?
Yeah, we definitely didn't expect it. I mean, we wrote a song that was wanting to bring people together. We love America, love the United States, and we've always wanted to write a patriotic song, but you always want it to be the perfect storm, because you don't want to write something that's hokey. The nation, to honor the nation, you want to do something that's really good, and so we've never taken a stab at it until this time. And it's just one of those things where, one of our co-writers, he had served in Afghanistan in the mid 2000s, and we just started talking about some of the stuff, some of his stories and what it was like. And, another guy that we were writing with threw out the idea of True Colors, was like, that sounds like a perfect patriotic song. And it's just one of those things where it seemed like God just threw the lyrics down and it just wrote itself, and it's just, it was a really cool experience.
All right, so let's kind of tell the front end story, and then Chris will let me know if I have time to do the song or not. I think probably what we'll do is tell the story and then do the song right after the news break. But So y'all got invited to be on local TV. Right. On Today in Nashville, WSMV. Great folks, great show, yada, yada, yada. Nobody's knocking necessarily anybody, although I don't understand some of the decision making. Just walk us through that process. Y'all, I got to be excited.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, it was our first time supposed to appear on that television show, and we've done TV things other places, but that was one of the kind of first big shows we were doing here in Nashville, and we were excited about that because there's a lot of industry people that could potentially see it. And so we were excited to play with our full band, our new song, which we had released at the end of January. And we had sent the song about a week ahead of time, and so they had it that amount of time. And then about 36 hours before the show, they said they were excited to have us, but we needed to choose a different song to play instead of True Colors.
And what was your reaction?
Well, first we were kind of taken aback by it, because we were like, why? Do they think, because they said it was politically biased, and they said that they didn't promote anything politically biased on their show. They wanted to keep it, all neutral. And we were like, well, I don't understand how a song about loving America is considered politically biased. And so we immediately was like, well, if you can't let us play the song that we're pushing, who we are, we love the United States. This is our song. If we can't play it, then we don't want to play any song. And so we refused to do the show.
All right, so this decision may have changed your life, man, and I think you probably know that, because, right. I mean, it would have flabbergasted me just having heard the song. I mean, it's certainly patriotic, and I suppose that there are people that are in America that aren't, but that's their problem, not our problem.
Right, yeah.
So what was the? I mean, were they? That had to be a big decision. I mean, because you're right, Jordan. You play a show, a television show like that, and you have no idea who's watching you. You have no idea what opportunity that might open up. Was it a hard thing to say no?
I think it was. I mean, it's a big decision. I think the decision was easy because, we want to stand for what we stand for, even if that means maybe not getting some exposure in certain areas. And, that's what the decision came down to. And thankfully we had a great friend in John Rich, to lean on, and we gave him a call. We were up in East Tennessee playing cornhole with our family, because we try to be up there on Mondays, and that gives us the time to kind of unplug from.
Who's better, by the way?
Seth has more wins this year, but I'm better at a few other sports, so I'll give him cornhole for now. But I'm working on a new technique. I'm doing overhand instead of underhand.
Overhand?
Yeah, shooting like a basketball.
I've just been trying.
He's a basketball
guy. Is that a new thing?
I guess so.
I mean, I haven't seen too many people do it, but I was a basketball player, so it just feels better to me.
Okay.
So we're just trying it out. But yeah, we were just up there playing with our family, and coming back to Nashville the next day to get ready for that show and some other things that we had going on. And we got the email, and, we had a family around us, and we were talking about it with them. And then we called John, who was on spring break with his family. And he was like, man, he said, let me call you. We need to talk about this. And so having those people around us really helped us make the decision. And, we had to make that decision knowing that, we could probably never be on that show, if we decided to cancel because of not being able to do our song. But, something that we decided is, if it takes compromising who we are to get some type of exposure, we're not going to do it. It's not worth it to us. And we know that God is bigger than anything, and he can open doors in other places if some close that are in front of us. So we just had that faith and confidence, and I felt, good about the decision. And, obviously, if you could see into the future, you would feel really good about the decision. But at the time, we didn't know what was going to happen. We just knew that we were going to take a stand for what we felt was right.
And just to kind of complete this story, and we'll take a break and we'll play the song and we'll talk about it afterwards. But how did the folks over there react? Were they surprised that y'all kind of gone, or just say, okay, thanks very much and move on from it? Or
it's funny because we told our publicist that we didn't want to do the show.
Our publicist at the time,
yeah, and
but she still wanted us to do the show, and so we had to figure some things out.
She asked us what song we were going to switch to, and we were like, no, we're not switching songs. And so we, under our own, John, we talked to John about it, asked his opinion. He told us to read the email and let our fans know why we weren't playing the show, because we'd told a bunch of our fans that we were playing this show. And so we got on our TikTok and X the following morning, on Tuesday morning, never forget it. And we read the letter, read the email word for word what they said, and explained to the fans why we weren't doing the show. And we posted it, and man, it just started taking off. It just exploded. And there's so many people that just threw in their support and had our backs. And we were trying to respond to comments at first. We'd get one response done and then hit send, refresh, 10 more comments, hit one more, 10 more, and we just couldn't keep up with it.
That's a good feeling to have.
Yeah.
The much worse feeling to do something like that and you just look there 3 days later and it's nothing.
Oh yeah.
That's that.
But everybody just had our back so much, and we've just been so blessed.
Just like a meteor's rise to fame and fortune for the Duggars. Y'all said y'all are you're locally. You're in MJ, Mount Juliet.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's God's country out there, right?
Yeah, man.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen the Charlie Daniels mural and all that.
I'm a fiddle player, so Charlie Daniels is one of my idols. So I love
goodness
That's one reason, when I moved to Mount Juliet, I was like, yes, this is Charlie Daniels' place.
That's exactly
that's right. So maybe a little bit of that will rub off on me.
Oh, I would love it. I absolutely love it. How would you describe the music that y'all do? I mean, I know you get this question a million times, but I mean, how did you describe it?
Well, I think there's a big focus on our family harmony. We both sing lead, and so, we're able to switch off and take turns with that. And, Seth's, one of his first instruments was fiddle, and mine's guitar, and we grew up in the Appalachian Mountains. And so that kind of music and, just being around a lot of kind of bluegrass and mountain music, that had a big influence on us. And so, we definitely like modern stuff, but we also have a lot of those classic country elements in our music and like to focus on that. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of fiddle and here recently a lot of steel guitar in our stuff. And so we're excited to continue exploring that. And, music's a journey, and we just keep going down this road.
All right, we'll talk a little further about it after we listen to it. This is the song in question. It's hot. I mean, it like rose to, it's number one on like a lot of the downloadable services, right?
Yeah, it went to number one all genre on iTunes. And so,
heck yeah.
Yeah, we woke up and just somebody texted us and said, hey, dude, you're like at number 2 right now. Looked at it, and just a couple hours later, it went up to number 1. I was like, wow, this is insane.
Have y'all sent WSMV one of them edible bouquets or something like that yet? Because they deserve something for their bad decision making. Let's listen to True Colors. It's Duggar Band on Super Talk 99.7 WTF.
Sitting there sipping on that Starbucks cup, hating on everything, not doing anything. I crank up some Toby Keith, climb back in my truck, and it don't matter where the chips may fall. That Statue of Liberty will be standing tall. The best part about the land of the free is if you don't like it, you're free to leave. But I ain't even here. I'm an 8th generation God-fearing blue. white, and blue. Yeah, my pappy served in the Second World War. I ain't ever given up all that he fought for. And if you come here aiming to take what we got, we're gonna fight, fight, fight. Go on and take your shine, but I ain't leaving it. I'm an 8th generation God-fearing blue collar with a flag waving, and I don't wait for the 4th of July. It's year round, lifelong American pride, and right here, right now, drawing the line. If this country ain't something you can stand behind, then that's the difference between me and you. 'Cause my true colors are red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. God bless the U.S. of A. I ain't leaving here. I'm an 8th generation God-fearing blue collar with a flag waving, and I don't wait for the 4th of July. It's year-round, lifelong American pride. Right here, right now, drawing the line. If this country ain't something you can stand behind, then that's the difference between me and you. 'Cause my true colors are red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue. Red, white, and blue.
There it is, True Colors, Duggar Band. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. That takes me back to my old DJ days. You know, when songs fading out, you just get on in there. I want to give the weather forecast and all that kind of stuff. That's a great tune.
Thanks, man.
And you never, I mean, that's a patriotic song. I almost said anthem because that's the word that kind of came to mind. But I mean, and I'm having a hard time understanding what's political about it.
Yeah, that's the same thought we had, and we never were given a specific part of the song that they found to be crossing the line, so we still don't know either.
But here's the aftermath is that I guarantee you that right now people want to know all across Middle Tennessee, how do they get that tune? And I'm assuming it's available anywhere you can download music right now?
Yes, sir. Yeah. iTunes, Amazon, anywhere that you can download music. It helps us a lot. Helps us out the most if you download it and then stream it like on Spotify. And so, but however you consume music, just go give it a listen and just share it with all your friends. That helps us a lot.
What sort of door? I mean, you already had a great relationship with John Rich, and what a great guy for y'all to know. I mean, He's a great man, great human being, great songwriter, great all-around country music artist, but even a better guy. Mm-hmm. And he's got to be a great mentor for y'all.
For sure, and he's just accomplished so much in the music industry, but just a great business guy. I mean, he's just really smart and just a great friend. I mean, he's done so much just to help us that he definitely didn't have to do, and we just respect him a lot and everything he's accomplished, but just the kind of human he is, and it'd have been tough to navigate, especially the last few weeks without his help. So we're definitely very appreciative to him.
I saw somebody last week, and it was completely unrelated to all of this. And it was Lee Beeman, who's a huge fan of y'all's. And Lee was like, "You got to get these guys on the show." I said, "They're coming on the show, Lee." And he was like, "No, really?" I was like, "Yeah, really." And so, I mean, but he loves you guys, and he's just a big fan of y'all's as well. So what's next? I mean, what is this? I mean, what is this like? I mean, what kind of reactions? And I got to feel like there's some windows and doors swinging open.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was a huge surprise to us to go to number one this quickly, and it's just been a lot of big doors have opened. God's just doing incredible things. You know, you have plans, and the Bible talks about how you can plan for your own self, but God's plans are much bigger than yours. And this is one of those case in point. Like, this was something that we thought that week would be a certain thing, and it blew up into something that was just mind blowing for us. And so there's lots of doors that are opening. We got so much stuff that's coming down the pike, and we've got a lot of announcements to make, but hopefully we'll start rolling some of that stuff out here soon.
We'll be keeping up. We'll be checking in, man. And so there had to be a moment. And well, maybe not. I mean, maybe there don't have to be a moment, but after you've made the decision, you've consulted, you've talked to JR, you talked to other people, I'm sure, family or whatever. But there had to be a time where you looked at one another and was like, are we screwing up here? Is this a stupid move? I mean, was there ever that moment?
Man, we were sitting at dinner with our family that Monday night when this happened, and we're like, well, here's what we're going to do. And we're like, we'll come back next week and see how it went, what happened. And, like you said, it could have just not been anything besides some of our fans just understand why we didn't go on the show. But, I think that, we felt confident, and we've got to stand up for who we are and stay true to our character. And, if that means not getting something to go a certain way that we would hope it would go, then that's fine. But like Seth said, our plan was to go on and play the show, get exposed to however many people we were exposed to through playing that show. And God's plan was to take something that looked bad for us, and he opened up so many more doors. And there's just been so much more exposure than we would have ever imagined, waking up that Monday morning before all this happened. And so, I think it's just important to stay true to who you are, and having a friend like John, he said at the end of the day, after we're finished with this life, basically, like, did you stay true to who you are? Did you just go through life trying not to hurt anybody's feelings or be scared to stand up for who you are? Or did you take a stand and make an impact on people's lives, hopefully for the positive? And, after seeing the response from people, I just hope that just like people like John Rich has encouraged us and to stand up for what we believe in, I hope that other artists, especially in this town, will stand up for it as well. And I would love to hear some more patriotic songs. I hope some other artists start cranking them out. There's a lot of great ones in the past, but we need some new ones, man. So people keep writing them.
You're exactly right. I mean, Jordan, you said a mouthful. I mean, I think Leonard Skinner's Simple Man is not about being a simpleton. It's about being true to yourself and about being who you are and respecting other people and you just keeping it simple. Life can get really complicated, but if you're true to yourself, it can get really simple. Really
that's
quick.
right. Yeah.
And that's great stuff. How can people find out about you? I mean, is there a website? What do we do?
Yeah. So follow us. It's DuggarBand.com. That's DUGGERBAND.com. You can find us on any social media. Just search Duggar Band. We'll probably pop up. So just keep up with us.
And if you're wondering which one's Seth and which one's Jordan, Seth is the fella in the leather jacket.
That's right.
Is that right?
Yeah, with the
Jordan
skinned head.
And Jordan's the guy in the cowboy hat. You can't get him in a cowboy hat?
Man, I've a time or two, a music video one time, and then
you whoop up on him when he was a kid.
Yeah, and I stopped. The 3.5 year age difference. There was a time where we were about the same size, and we used to fight when we were kids. And then I took my growth spurt, and he hadn't yet. And I remember one particular time I had. I never punched him in the face. That was kind of our thing. Like we might hit him in the shoulder.
Don't punch me in the face, man. Come on.
Can I give you the number to my brother Brian? Let him know that he didn't get the memo not to punch me in the face.
That was an unwritten rule.
I was like, man, we might be on stage one day. His face needs to look decent.
Don't punch me in the face.
But I remember one particular time I had him down and just wearing him out, at least in his arms or whatever, and he started crying, and that messed with me. And I was like, man, I can't do this no more. I'm too big. And so we waited till he grew up a little bit more, and then we had a few more after that. But
he calmed down after that.
Yeah. It was mainly putting him up to stuff that would get him in trouble or maybe get him hurt.
Well, y'all have had a tremendous reaction. I got a little stream going on here that we call the Super Talks text stream, and a lot of people are just wishing y'all well and saying that they absolutely love it. Look, none of this would matter. Like the backstory, none of this would matter if it's not a great tune.
Thank you.
And it is a great tune, bottom line. So
really appreciate that.
Congratulations on the success.
Thanks again for having us on, man. This was a lot of fun.